Happening now, one of the county's largest manufacturers is planning a multi-million-dollar investment into their workforce. And what's more important, splash pads or a new ambulance? We're polling local leaders on the issue as funding for one of the additions is approved. Plus, why putting potatoes in your socks when sick might not actually help you recover faster.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up. But first, 2 Jamestown residents have been convicted for violent felonies connected to crimes committed in Chautauqua County. 32-year-old Megan McBride and 20-year-old Simeon Leeper were sentenced to prison time in Chautauqua County Court on Monday. The County District Attorney's Office says McBride will spend 4 years in state prison with 5 years of post-release supervision after being convicted of second-degree robbery, a Class C violent felony. McBride previously pled guilty to this charge for her participation in a strong-armed robbery where one person was assaulted, injured, and had property stolen that occurred in February 2022. Leeper, meanwhile, will spend 2 years behind bars plus 3 years of post-release supervision after being convicted of attempted criminal possession of a weapon. That's a Class D violent felony. In January, Leeper pled guilty to this charge after he was caught trying to hide a loaded gun during a crime in June 2021. Well, a Jamestown man with a long criminal rap sheet is now facing federal drug and weapons charges. The U.S. Attorney's Office arrested and charged Stephen Glover on Monday for being a felon in possession of a firearm and possession of 5 grams or more of methamphetamine. In December 2022, Jamestown police stopped the 39-year-old for driving on a suspended license. During the investigation, Glover was allegedly in possession of a pipe containing meth and a digital scale, as well as a pistol. After being released on bail, Glover was arrested again months later on an outstanding warrant. In a search of his possessions, Glover was allegedly busted with drug paraphernalia and a plastic bag containing suspected methamphetamine. The charge carries a mandatory minimum penalty of 5 years in prison and a maximum penalty of 40. Well, now let's switch gears and get a first check of our weather forecast today. Chief Weather Forecaster Andrew Stevenson joining us live over a beautiful Chautauqua Lake out there, Andrew, as the sun really setting in. And as you mentioned, this week's going to kind of be another roller coaster of weather.
Yeah, we'll be dry today, and then we'll go back to precipitation tomorrow. Then we'll be dry on Thursday, and then we'll go back to more rain Friday and Saturday. So just that kind of week out there. Mostly cloudy skies over Chautauqua Lake. If we had this camera up just a couple minutes ago, you would have saw some ducks floating across Chautauqua Lake, but those ducks have since left the view. First defense Doppler radar, mostly cloudy skies, some sunshine out there. There's also some rain showers falling up across Erie County, but today will be a mainly dry day, outside of a spotty rain shower or snow shower at times. Yesterday we made it to a high of 40 degrees. The low was 32. The records for today, the record high of 80 degrees set back in 1989 and the record low of 2 degrees set back in 1982. So here's the forecast for the rest of the afternoon, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Again, maybe an isolated rain or snow shower possible, but most of the afternoon will be dry with a northwest wind of 5 to 10 miles per hour, and today's highs will range from the mid to upper 30s to the lower 40s across the region. I'll have a look at the full forecast details, including something you might want to tune your eyes into the sky tonight. I'll tell you about that coming up in the full forecast.
All right, Andrew, we'll see you back in just a little bit. Well, a new e-bike program, various park improvements, and a school bus safety measure was adopted during the Jamestown City Council meeting on Monday. Now, originally presented to the council earlier in the month, over $200,000 in improvements to local parks were approved, providing a revamp to 2 neglected parks and a resurfacing of a basketball court. The Department of Public Works has the funding to receive equipment and vehicles that have begun to fall into disrepair. Also, a program to bring electric bikes and scooters to the Pearl City at no cost was okayed. The proposal was approved by all except for Councilman at Large Jeff Russell. In addition, lawmakers approved the installation of a management of a bus stop arm camera program.
It's good to try it. I think the other communities have done it. I think there were enough questions that were answered. I know the school system has moved forward with it, and so I think we felt comfortable to at least get it going and give it a shot. So, we'll see how it goes, and we'll go from there.
Lawmakers also approved an amendment to the salaries of elected officials. However, the local law will be put on hold until next month. Well, one of the largest manufacturers in Chautauqua County plans to invest $452 million to upgrade its Jamestown area facility. Cummins, Inc. eyes renovations to their Jamestown engine plant in the town of Busti, bringing in new machinery and equipment that will allow it to manufacture and modernize their cleaner engines. Now, following the investment announcement, the Columbus, Indian-based company would produce new engine block platforms that would handle diesel and hydrogen, or maybe even both. In addition to retaining the current 1,280 employees, additional 90 people will be hired as part of jobs invested over the next 3 years. A Cummins spokesperson says the investment is part of the company's zero-emission strategy, which was announced earlier this month. Now, in addition to a private investment, the company is still in negotiations with stakeholders and seeking potential grants and incentives from the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency. Well, as we continue this half hour, we're breaking down the list of new nominees vying for New York State's Chief Justice position. And later, with spring on the way, the fear of brush fires grows here in New York State. We're hearing from first responders touting safety tips today.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Have you ever wanted to live out your dreams? Hunt, fish, in all corners of the earth? Well, now's your chance. Follow Primitive Patriot Outdoors as we live out our dreams and show you how to live out yours through outdoor adventures. From Western New York to Africa to all corners of the earth, follow us on this adventure. It's an experience you've never seen before. Lead and Lures, Roku TV, channel 716.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. Jamestown lawmakers approved the construction of 2 splash pads within the Pearl City on Monday with a few caveats. Bronson Rasmussen joins us here at the desk with more on this story and from last night's City Council meeting.
Oh yeah, Justin. As Jamestown's multi-million-dollar American Rescue Plan Act funding dwindles, all eyes are on the remaining allocations. Among top priorities are splash pads and a new ambulance for the Jamestown Fire Department. On Monday, $500,000 in American Rescue Plan Act funds were approved for the splash pad project at Jackson Taylor and Allen Parks. However, Councilman Jeff Russell highlighted a few concerns, including traffic safety on Washington Street.
My ultimate fear is that a child is going to be crossing that roadway, unsupervised possibly, and is going to be struck by a vehicle and killed.
In addition to the city's allocation, a $100,000 grant from Assemblyman Andy Goodell's office is sought. Lawmakers also called for a private engineering firm to get involved.
The other concern I have is the stability of the soil that's down there. I've had conversations with Mr. Stone. I've asked him about other locations within the park where that it could be placed. He said there's really no other place to put it because of the instability of some of the soil down there.
If the engineer detects problems, the splash pad would be moved to Roseland Park. The vote on the amended resolution was approved by most of the council, with Councilman Bill Reynolds being the only one to vote against the pads.
I just don't find that they're a necessity at this point in time for the economy status of the city. And, I feel strongly that there's other areas that need that money. One of them was the ambulance.
Councilwoman Kim Eklund also mirrors these concerns.
We're down to the last, and where do we want to use it? What is the best bang for our buck, if you will? I would love to give the community everything I can.
However, Jamestown Mayor Eddie Sundquist believes it is possible to get both.
I think we can do both. I don't think that it's a either or proposition. I think we can certainly support both an ambulance as well as splash pads.
Now, 2 public hearings are scheduled to take place on the splash pads, with the first taking place at Allen Park on Thursday, March 30th at 6 p.m. and the second will be at Jackson Taylor Park on April 11th at 6 p.m. Reporting in the studio, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
All right, Bronson, thank you very much. Well, now to Albany, where Governor Kathy Hochul is considering new chief judge candidates for the state's courts of appeals. Our New York Capitol correspondent Elise Klein talks to lawmakers about what happens next.
Following Governor Hochul's first chief judge nomination, Hector LaSalle, who was rejected by the Senate in December, the New York State Commission of Judicial Nomination releases a new list of nominees. Governor Hochul must choose from the list of 7 nominees no sooner than April 8th and no later than April 23rd. The rejection of former nominee Hector LaSalle was met with strong opposition from lawmakers across the aisle when the nomination did not immediately go to the Senate floor for a vote after LaSalle's confirmation committee hearing. The opposition resulted in a lawsuit filed by Senator Anthony Palumbo, forcing a full floor Senate vote. Some lawmakers say a new nominee should be voted on by the full Senate on the floor.
I think it's very clear that it has to go to the floor, so our expectation is that it absolutely will go to the floor, or we'll do what we have to do again to ensure that it does.
While some other lawmakers say it's too soon to determine a floor vote.
Trust the process, just as we did last time. We will have full and thorough hearings, and the candidates, whoever's selected, will be vetted thoroughly by the Senate.
A New York State attorney says the new list of nominees is a good list of candidates.
And I think all of the candidates on this short list have both of those essential qualities, not only judicial and lawyerly chops, but also the chops to be a great leader.
Following Hochul's nominee choice, the state Senate has 30 days to confirm or reject the appointment. In Albany, Elise Klein, WNY News Now.
Elise, thank you. Monday in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, officials with the Pennsylvania State Police answered questions from lawmakers about their funding needs for the 2023-24 fiscal budget. Gun violence, the evolving drug crisis, and a police shortage were some of the top concerns at the hearing. Now, state police service over 80% of the Commonwealth's total land area, over 60% of its roadways, and provide full or part-time service to nearly 70 municipalities, 70% of municipalities, that is. State police say their coverage areas continue to grow, but the number of troopers, they continue to shrink.
Our internal analysis shows that we're in the ballpark of, at the current time, of needing about 400 additional troopers in order to bring that workload down, in order to allow for strong proactive policing.
Now, Governor Josh Shapiro's budget proposal creates a new fund for the state police, which the administration says provides a steady funding stream for the agency. Shapiro also proposed a tax credit of up to $2,500 per year for 3 years for new police officers and troopers. Well, springtime means warmer weather, blooming flowers, and growing plants. But it's also the time of the year that weather gets dry, and we see more dry conditions, which could easily spark brush fires. WNY's Deshaun Robinson reports.
Overlapping with the spring season, a combination of factors like dry vegetation and strong winds make brush fires more likely during this time of the year.
Keep any areas around your property trimmed. Make sure that there's no dry brush laying around. If you are a smoker, never throw a lit cigarette from your vehicle to get rid of it. If you are using a cooking fire or a campfire, never leave it unattended, and make sure when you do leave, then you're done for the evening, that it's out and completely out.
In New York, a residential burn ban is in effect between March 16th and May 14th, limiting the types of fires that could accidentally spark a brush fire.
The burn ban eliminates the cooking fires outside as well, so there's no burning at all. You're never allowed to burn trash or garbage. You're never allowed to burn construction materials or any waste like that.
Outside of the burn ban, small cooking fires are allowed. People who violate the state's burn ban face fines and criminal charges. Fire officials say if you ever encounter a brush fire, never put it out yourself. Call 911 immediately. In Horseheads, Deshaun Robinson, WNY News.
Once again, Splash Lagoon is nominated for the USA Today 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards. Splash Lagoon previously received this honor in 2015, 17, 18, 21, and 2022. Splash Lagoon is one of 20 indoor water parks to compete for it. Those interested in voting for Splash Lagoon can vote daily until voting concludes on Monday, April 24th. That can be done online. In 2022, Splash Lagoon installed a brand new multi-level tiered slide which connects with several other aspects of the park, along with a new virtual reality game inside of the park's Treasure Island arcade. Quaker Steak and Lube has also moved into that space, which is connected to the water park. Well, coming up, we have the latest details on a fatal school shooting in Nashville as parents mourn the loss of their young children today. And later, what newly released numbers have to say about our nation's production of green energy. But first, we return with a full look at our weather forecast. Stay with us.
On this episode of Lead and Lures, pro staffer and lethal lady Caitlin Armstrong takes out her big Ohio buck. Months of hard work, dedication, and scouting have led her to this moment. You're not going to want to miss this episode of Lead and Lures on Channel 716 Roku TV. And if you want to see more of Caitlin Armstrong, follow her on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
You know, hunting
Caitlin
on
Armstrong
private land has been quite the experience.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. Currently in downtown Jamestown, mostly cloudy skies out there. The temperature at the Jamestown Airport at the noon hour was 39 degrees and the winds are calm out there. So let's talk about the temperatures. If you're a fan of warmer temperatures, well, I got some good news for you. Heading into the period of April 4th to April 10th, the NOAA 8 to 14-day temperature outlook favors above average temperatures across the region. So we might finally be able to begin into some spring weather heading into the first weeks of April. I'm looking forward to that spring weather. Across the northeast right now, we're kind of sandwiched between a couple of systems. There's a low pressure system across Canada that's keeping a couple of rain showers in the forecast for today. And there's a low pressure system out to the west that's going to drag a cold front through the region as we head into tomorrow, and then high pressure builds back in for Thursday. So let's time it out on future scan. For the remainder of the afternoon, partly and mostly cloudy skies, maybe a stray shower or snow shower possible, but as high pressure continues to build in this evening, skies will eventually clear out into the overnight period, and we should stay dry at least through the first half of tomorrow, and then clouds will begin to build in, and a cold front is going to pass the region tomorrow afternoon, which will bring in a round of rain and even some snow showers tomorrow afternoon. As the cold front passes, there might be a brief burst of some heavier snow with about 1 to 2 inches, but that cold front is going to pass rather quickly. Behind the cold front, high pressure will once again to build back in Wednesday night into Thursday, and that's going to provide us with a mainly dry day on Thursday before more rain arrives for Friday and into Saturday. You might want to look to the skies tonight. After sunset, you'll be able to see a planetary alignment tonight that will be Jupiter, Venus, Mars, Mercury, and Uranus. That will be coming up just after sunset, but you want to be quick because Mercury and Jupiter will drop below the sunset or below the horizon, so you won't be able to see that. This is a somewhat rare occurrence. It happens every few years, so you might want to catch this one tonight. Skies will hopefully clear out tonight, so we'll be able to see it. We will see some clouds in the evening, but again, hopefully the skies will clear out so we can see it. It will be a chilly overnight period with temperatures ranging from the lower to mid-20s in the valleys to close to 30 near the lakeshore. Now, the future from Ultimate Satellite Solutions. Temperatures over the next few days will be in the low to mid 40s. Tomorrow, or as we head into Thursday, will be dry, but temperatures only up in the upper 30s. And then we head into Friday, Saturday, temperatures rebound back into the 50s. But if you remember last week, Saturday is going to be very similar this week. Rain, wind, and even a few thunderstorms are possible on Saturday before we dry it out once again, heading into Sunday and early next week, and we go run towards 60 by next Monday.
Looks like spring is coming here fast. Andrew, thank you very much. Well, let's get some headlines from around the nation. And a school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee Monday left 7 people dead. It happened at a private Christian elementary school called Covenant. Police say the victims are 3 students and 3 adults. The other is the shooter who was fatally shot by police. She's been identified as 28-year-old Audrey Hale of Nashville. She was once a student at the school. Hale was armed with 2 assault rifles and a handgun. Now, the incident is the 19th shooting at a school or university so far this year, which includes at least 1 person was wounded. Guns and gun control, they're polarizing issues, and in a recent congressional hearing on the subject, the meeting became rather tense after members of families of gun violence victims exchanged jabs. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp reports.
In a recent congressional hearing, House Republicans say the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, better known as ATF, is overreaching their authority on gun rights. Republicans accuse the agency of infringing on Second Amendment rights after they changed a rule cracking down on stabilizing braces, which are devices designed to anchor a gun to a shooter's arm, allowing people to shoot the firearm one-handed. Republican members say that device was designed to help people with disabilities and disabled veterans use guns. The new ATF rule would require gun owners to register with the government their existing pistols equipped with stabilizing braces within a couple of months. Republicans say the agency's rule goes around congressional authority to make gun laws.
In other words, by unelected bureaucrats who believe they can make law, apply law, enforce and adjudicate law. That is something every American should be concerned about.
Tensions with members on the other side of the aisle flared up over the issue.
But let's be clear. Republicans want to pretend that people who support gun safety measures are coming for everybody's guns. We're not. We're coming for the end to gun violence.
But this already tense hearing took an unexpected turn. A man whose son was killed in the 2018 Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School shooting was arrested after disrupting the hearing and shouting while the subcommittee's chairman was speaking.
He never took anyone away.
No. Officer, please remove her. And remove the gentleman, too.
The subcommittee's chair said he welcomes all dialogue, but that there needs to be decorum during hearings. At the Capitol, Rachel Knapp reporting.
Rachel, thank you. Capitol Police have since said the man who was given a citation has been released, meaning he wasn't put in jail, but will have to go before court disputing the charge during a congressional hearing. Well, electricity generated from renewables surpassed coal in the United States for the first time since 2022. The U.S. Energy Information Administration announced Monday renewables also surpassed nuclear generation in 2022 after first doing so last year. Growth in wind and solar significantly drove the increase in renewable energy and contributed 14% of electricity produced domestically. California produced 26% of the national utility-scale solar electricity, and the most wind generation occurred in Texas, which accounted for 26% of the overall U.S. count. Well, coming up next, how you feeling, short fry? If you're feeling ill, we're breaking down a new medical myth that might help: sleeping with potatoes. We'll explain after this.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
Police and other local law enforcement agencies are looking for the person responsible for a shooting.
One of the benefits of this new feature is it not only works with the newer parking meters that the city's been rolling out, but these traditional meters as well.
From muddy trails to slick cliff edges to structures that have fallen into disrepair, these are just some of the problems that this park faces.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
When you're very sick, you might do anything to make yourself feel better, even turn to the internet for answers. But not all of those healthcare trends online work. So Erie News Now's Megan Selensky is taking time to find out what might work in a new segment called Medical Mythbusters.
Well, each week on Medical Mythbusters, we're taking some of those old wives' tales or some of those TikTok trends and talking with epidemiologist Dr. Becky Dawson here to see if are there any bearings to these, or are they just fun trends? And this week, we're talking all about socks. And you might have seen the video. We'll play the video right here for you. As you can see, people are putting potatoes in their socks and sleeping with them at night when they have a cold. Dr. Dawson, why are people doing this?
So what they're hearing is that you can relieve your body or suck toxins or toxic materials out of your body through the potatoes on your socks. And unfortunately, this is not true. This is not the way that our body gets rid of toxic chemicals or toxic substances in our body. That job is really left to our kidneys, livers, and lungs.
And a lot of times when people are doing this, they have the potatoes in their socks for overnight and they're seeing that that potato is black. Why is it changing that color? Can you explain why it's actually not the sickness being drawn through your feet?
Right, so potatoes, apples, pears all have an enzyme in them. When they're exposed to the air, to oxygen, they actually do turn brown and then ultimately black. So it really is just a function of how the potato is made and its exposure to the air that's causing it to turn black overnight. But it really isn't doing anything to your body. Maybe you think it's comfortable, I don't know. But it's not sucking any toxins out of your body. Really, your liver and your kidneys are responsible for getting rid of that kind of toxic material in your body.
So if we're sick and we're trying to look for that overnight remedy to maybe feel a little better in the morning, what can we do instead of putting potatoes in our socks?
So I think going to bed early, making sure you've gone to bed really hydrated. You know, some of us when we're stuffed up with a cold need to sit with, sleep with multiple pillows under our heads. Those are all really good things. There's also lots of good over-the-counter medications that may be able to help you get to sleep easier when you're all stuffed up, but the potatoes in your socks aren't going to help.
Well, it sounds like if you have a potato sitting out on the counter or in your socks, it's still going to turn that color. It's not pulling the sickness out of your feet. For Medical Mythbusters, Megan Selensky, Erie News Now.
All right, Megan, thank you. And whatever you do, please don't eat the potato. That's it for us today. News at WNYNewsNow.com.